Pardon? Okay, awesome. How about you? One thing. Equipment? What about it? Oh, commitment. What about it? So does that mean you're like, hey, I got to do like less committed, more committed specifically in a certain area? Which one of those? Okay, which area for you? Okay, waking up at what time? Do you guys see how like I just keep going deeper and deeper? It's like, what'd you learn about commitment? Well, what about commitment? Well, I got to be better. Well, at what? Well, I got to get up earlier. Well, what does early mean to you? Because if I said to you, I want to be better, going to be more committed, that could look like 100. And this is what we do to ourselves: is we create this. I'm going to do this, but there's this lack of clarity, and we all do it. Me too. But it's not until I stop and it's like, well, no, I want to fix the car. What do I fix? Well, the transmission. Well, what about the transmission? What kind of car? What type of transmission? Is it done? Or can it be repaired? Like, is it something? Is it a computer chip? Like, it's like, find out all the details. So what does early look like for you? 6 what? 6 a.m. And then so you get up at 6 a.m., then what? So what is the daily routine? Okay. The first 3 things that you guys do, write this down. The first 3 things you do at the start of your day set the tempo for your day. What you eat, what you listen to, who you talk to. Do you pick up your phone right away and jump on the feeds? It literally sets the rhythm for your day. So the reason I'm drilling down on this commitment thing and getting up early, and then I get up at 6. I know some people that get up at 6 and then stare off into the clouds, which is fine if that's what you need to do, but be intentional about what you're doing. So you do that. So you eat breakfast. What would be like the ideal breakfast for you? Okay, awesome. Every day you're going to do that. So you'd be down in the kitchen, like cooking and mucking bacon and eggs. Cool. Some guys don't eat in the morning. Some guys do intermittent fasting. Some guys don't eat their meal. There's different ways to eat. So the whole story of like, gotta have your breakfast, most important meal of the day. We know that's not totally true. Right? Again, like Joe said, are you a pie guy or are you a cake guy? Are you an ice cream guy? And if so, are you a chocolate, a vanilla, or some other flavor? So what is your thing? So thanks for walking us through that. And so we, as athletes, we all want, like out there, I call it the dream or the goal. We want something. I want to be heavier in 12 weeks, or I want to make that team, or I want to get there. And my questions are always like, well, why? Why does that matter? Well, because I want to know, because then I think that's going to be my gateway. Like I'm going to play junior because that's going to be my gateway to something else. Who asked me the question about international hockey? Yeah. So the question was, ask the question again. Where's Nick with the microphone? Santiago, right here in a second. Yeah.
Yeah. Hi. So I'm Santiago. I asked Dan if there's going to be any panelists for international hockey or scouting like that, because there's some universities that offer like abroad programs, and if you're committed to that school for hockey, you could probably play at its sister school, hockey too. And I just wanted to know if that's like opportunity or something.
Awesome.
That he knows about.
Okay. Awesome. Cool. And so my answer was this: the panelists you're going to meet. We have someone today. Obviously, Joe was talking about the U.S. schools. We have someone on the panel on Friday who's a coach now at a Canadian university. So he's going to talk about his program, what that process looks like. And then there's going to be a whole host of other coaches and scouts and people here from Junior B, Junior A. I have someone coming from the league, representing the league, the GOJHL. And he's going to talk to you high level and what some of the standards and responsibilities are to teams and how you can get on the right track in a GOJHL, which is a Junior B loop. So we're going to walk you through a whole bunch of scenarios. But my answer to your question was, the people you're going to meet, it's not just you're meeting Dan, you're meeting Dan plus everybody else that Dan knows. And so the same thing with Andrew and with Jim and through all the scout from Erie, first female scout in the OHL ever. She's going to be on our panel. So she's going to talk about challenge. Talk about like the old boys club. Like, oh, you're a girl. What do you know about hockey? Like literally, that's been her whole life. And so she's going to talk about what she looks for. And she's also going to talk about what her journey's been like. And so you're literally going to get her, but you're also going to get everybody else that she's connected to. And so that is a question, Santiago, I hope that you have, that you're going to ask every single panel. That question could be something you ask. So much so that the people in the room are like, dude, I already know what he's going to be asking. But that's fine. How many guys here have ever had a time where you stop asking questions because you don't want to ask so many questions? Does it ever happen? Okay, yeah, Rajul, I know you for sure. Okay, stop doing that to yourself. There's no limit. Like, what's the limit on how much you're supposed to know and how much you need to know to make better decisions? I don't know, 3 questions? 29 questions? 604? I don't know. As many as it takes is my answer. And so if you have that story, because there's always that one guy in the room or one girl in the room who's like, it's like, oh my God, it's time to go. Like, and they're still asking questions. They got 3 more. And so be that person. Ask those questions. And if it's tight for time, then maybe you come and ask those questions one-on-one. But the objective, I said at the start, is we are all here for you this week. And so if you leave here on Friday at 6 o'clock, whenever we're done, and there's one thing you didn't ask, that's on you. And that might be the thing that you need to ask that literally connects, like this dot connects like all of these 19 dots. And without that one dot connected, these 19 are virtually useless. And so ask as many questions as you can. So Santiago, every day, that could be like the standard Santiago question that comes from the floor, so much so that other guys are asking. How many guys in the room are being like, well, that'd be kind of cool to know that information about thing in the sister school. Don't even know what he's talking about. That sounds kind of like, how many guys in the room would be like, I'd like to learn about that? Amazing. And that's the other thing, is that when we ask questions, this is statistical proof that there's over 50% of the people in the room that also have a similar question or are looking for a similar answer. They may not even know that that's the question you're supposed to ask, but when they hear the answer, they're like, oh, I was going to ask that thing. How many times have you been in a classroom and a teacher's like, oh, yeah, I answered this question. Be like, oh, do you have a question? You're like, no, you already answered it. Has it ever happened, Rajul? Yeah, Noah? Yeah, Rajul, no, because you just keep asking questions. I love it. Okay, so ask the questions. Any other questions about what you've heard so far today that you want to throw on the floor? I may not have the answer for them, but we can table them. Tommy, what questions are you going to ask this week? Awesome. Cool. Okay, awesome. Why is that important to you? Who else in that category? Who else gets down on themselves? Awesome. Okay, awesome. And here's the thing. It's one thing, Tommy, if you go to the rink and then you're there for 3, 4 hours, 6 hours, and then you come home and then you're with mom and dad and they make you a nice meal and you talk about your feelings and that stuff, and that's amazing. But what happens if you're living 17 hours from home? No, and you're living with a billet family. And they may like you, but you're like, oh my God. So like you're literally now like in the middle of nowhere. When I go in and speak to OHL teams, this is the type of conversation we have. I had a bill at one time, literally had the GM and the head coach and Owen Sound. They're standing right there. And one of the players, first-year players, he gets a text and he's like all quiet. And I said to him, I said, what's going on? He goes, oh, my billet family, they say they're going to throw me out tonight. Right? And I'm like, well, what are you going to do about that? And the GM is like, what are you talking about? And he's like, well, yeah, like they said I left my room messy and it's the 3rd time in a row I did it and whatever. Like, this is real stuff. Doesn't matter how many goals this guy scores. Forget about the NHL. He's like freaking out like I'm 17 years old. Where am I? Like, I'm literally in Owen Sound. You been to Owen Sound? Yeah, there's not a lot of choices in Owen Sound to go have as a backup sleeping plan. And like this, and he's living. So fortunately, we were there. We talked about it. The GM is like, dude, I got you. And I said to him, what would you have done if we weren't having a conversation now? He said, I would have called my mom and dad, and I probably would have maybe spoken to one of the other younger guys, all of which have no control over helping him resolve the issue. He needed to go to the GM. but he wasn't even thinking that he would contact him. So parents, players, this is the real life. This is what we go through as players. It's heavy, it's hard. The game's amazing. We're injured sometimes we're winning, sometimes we're losing, but the impact it has on us is significant. And so keep asking questions, keep bringing that info to the table, and we'll do as much as we can this week to help answer those questions. Cool? Okay. Success and fail audit. So I said before, Landon, what did I just ask you about success? Yeah, so what was it? Pride. Okay, which is cool. And then what did I say after that? Awesome. Okay, hit the next slide, Taylor. Okay. So here's the cycle. But we don't pay attention to this, right? We win, we lose. We lose, I suck. We win, I'm best. And then we go and do it tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow. It's like nonstop. And what I want you guys to do today, and then moving forward, is to start looking at the results you're getting with the same depth that I talked to you about what is commitment, and we go deeper, 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 is like, okay, so what's the first box on the slide say? Results. So all I want you to look at is, I got this result. That's it. I got scored on, I scored. I said something, my mom's angry. Like, I don't know what it is. It's just a result. We put so much emotion into what we think that result is and how we think it's going to affect us, hurt us, help us, build us up, tear us down. We go into all that stuff. And so I want you guys to simply look at it as it's just a result. It happened on that day, at that moment in time. Boom. What's the next box? Clues. And so in that result, I want you guys to be curious. Have you ever played the game Clue? Anybody ever played the game Clue? What do you know about the game of Clue? Right. And so what are the clues they're giving you? Like Colonel Mustard did it in the parlor with the candlestick, right? But how do you figure that out? Right. Process of elimination. Cool. Anybody else played Clue over here? Ever played Clue? Parents? Come on, we gotta have some Clue players over here. You played? What's one strategy that maybe you've used when playing Clue? Like, I'm not good at, I just want to get the answer fast. But what's a strategy maybe you've used that's helped you be successful at that game? Anybody else? Parents? Yeah. Boom. Boom. I'm going to start with location. I don't care who and with what instrument. I'm going to go location. I want to know the instrument first. That's okay. But we all have a way that we look at things to slice and dice it. So the first thing I want you to do when you're looking at, what's the second box? Clues. I want you to look at the clues. We lost today. I slept till 11:30 this morning. I ate no breakfast. I got to the rink. I had an argument with my parents on the way. And then I'm like, I noticed when I get up late and I feel tight for time and I don't eat, I'm grumpy AF. Which has led me to the fight, the debate, the conversation with mom and dad. And then you're going to get out of the truck and say, Mom, Dad, now I'm so rattled, I can't play when I'm rattled like this. Which, if you look at the clues, when did this whole thing start? Forget about win or loss. Forget about how well you play. Let's look at what are the clues that led up to that. If you're willing to sit in that hot seat, you see, as humans, we're driven to end pain. As you guys at your age, you live on a place that's called, I want pleasure, and I want it now. And then as you get older, you start to develop principles, right from wrong. But then at your age, you start to use the principles as manipulation, to get you to the pleasure. I will clean my room if I get the car. I will clean my room, blah, 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 if. It's very much dependent. If you do, then I'll do. And the I do is getting me to the pleasure. Getting me to I got the car. I got the whip. Why do you want the whip? Because I want to go out and be with the boys and do my thing. And so this is how we work. We want to get the pleasure as soon as we can. And so what I'm asking you guys to do is to sit in the clues a little longer and find at least one clue that you can own that contributed to that result. That's it. I got up late. What happens when I get up late? Oh, I'm rushed. What happens when I'm rushed? Wore my wrong tie. I always have to wear when I wear my red tie, I play well. Like all those things. Mom, where's my red tie? Well, I don't know. Like, it's your tie. Yeah, but I only got 9 minutes. Well, if you had got up an hour ago, you probably have time to look for your tie. Like, whatever it is. So I want you guys, when something happens, success or fail, simply look at it as that's the result. And let me find one clue that got me there. I had a sick game. Best game I've had in months. What's the one clue? What's one thing that I can link that I did that got me there? I had eggs and bacon. I'm losing sausages. I'm going to straight bacon. Because I did that, and I was literally on fire. And then you might go and play the next game and play poorly and be like eggs and bacon. Like what happens when you're like the parlor, you think it's the parlor, and then you find out something. Where's our clue player back there? Clue mom? So what happens when you play the game and you're like, I'm pretty sure it's the parlor, and you're ready to like literally like to solidify that's it, and then you find out, dang, it's not. Oh my God, maybe it's the library, right? So then you're like, oh, I was like all in, ready to make my final decision. Like that's the thing, but then I found out some more information and it's not it. So then you play a poor game and you're like, oh, I did bacon and eggs too. Oh, maybe that wasn't the thing. And all you're literally doing is just looking to find one tiny clue that's going to show you or shine light on the results. See, if I could do one thing, like Dave put that thing on his head. If I could do that on everybody's head in this room and change one pattern of your thoughts, would be to change how you define success and fail. We've all been conditioned that failure is this awful thing, and you can stand up and you can say, "No, you got to fight through your failures, and it's how you get to the top of the mountain." You can say all that. But we don't, unless we have a strategy to actually use it, it's just words. It's just lip service. And so what I'm asking you to do is you get a result. I don't care what it is. This week, try it this week. What was that result? That's what it was. What was the clue that got me there? And then what's the last box? Answers. So when you know that it's, what room are you in? You're in the library now, and now you're sure. You can legit put your fist on the table and say, done. And your little paper on clue, now I think it's electronic version, but you'll write library, done. Now I'm going to move on to, but now you know it's library. Now you're going to go to the instrument. So now you know that your answer is, I'm going to do before the game, and I'm going to do it like this, because I know it's going to get me this result. Simple. And you start teeny tiny, guys. I'm not saying write a journal with 19,000 words and a 79-minute meditation and go in the Himalayas for 9 days with no noise and no voices. I'm saying simple. What is the result I got? And you can start with today. I know there were parents and players that reached out to me that were like, oh, I got a game and I'm not sure, and how can I do both? And I got to think. And it's like, it's no big deal. Come when you can, leave when you have to leave. Like, it's all good. You make your own choices. But make your decisions, make your choices based on what you know are the results. And if you want the result, Landon, then you're going to look for what? For clues. And then those clues are going to give you what? The answers to what? Right. The answer is to then how do you do that again so you get the same result? Players talk, parents, we hear it often talk about superstitions, right? Players in the room, and I go like red sock first, and then I go green sock on this leg, and the socks stink. I haven't washed them. Don't wash them. Are you kidding? It's playoffs. Like, we go through this stuff. Those are also part of the patterning we have around using our tools, looking at the result. I'm not changing my socks. Moms, dads, it makes the car ride home pretty gnarly, but I'm not going to wash those socks. Why? Because you've made it that the clue to your result is the dirty socks or those socks, or that thing, or that meal, or the conversation, or the music you listen to, or the thing that you don't do. Like, you literally get really clear. That's what I do. Because if I ask most of you guys, why do you do that thing before a game, or before school, or before anything, most of you will be like, well, because this, but you won't know for sure what result it's helping you get. Like, what time do you get up for school, Landon? What time do you get up from school? Why that time? Right, easiest time. So again, we're looking for pleasure, right? We're looking for the easiest, and maybe 7:09 is the right time. Maybe 6:56, I don't know. And what do you do in the morning? Who makes your breakfast? Okay, and what do you get for breakfast? Whatever sheep makes? What's that? Depends on what? Yeah, but is it what mom makes, or do you put the order in? Do you actually go and make it happen? You'll ask. Okay, cool. And so how do those meals help you? How do they hurt you? And I'm just asking now rhetorically, give some thought to, what does that process look like for you? And is that helping you get the result you want, or is it helping you get a result that you don't want? By definition, and I don't speak in a lot of schools anymore, because when I share my opinion of academics and the schooling system, the way it's worked out, oftentimes teachers are like, no, Dan, you shouldn't say that. But I believe that school is not set up for young men. Our brains are not wired to learn the way that we're taught early in the morning, at the start of the day, slam, take it. And for the expectation, imagine me in let's say you're teaching math. Let's say you're teaching stretching class. Okay, it's start of the day, and I come in with my energy. And today we're gonna do sitting stretching, Dan. We're gonna introduce a whole new strategy to stretching. You're gonna sit for 11 minutes and stretch. I'll be losing my marbles. I won't be able to concentrate. I'll be the biggest distraction. I'll be the guy that you're talking to your spouse about that kid who's like uncontrollable in class. I'll probably be diagnosed with ADHD. The truth is, let me go to the back of the room with the football and toss the football around with you while I'm learning, and my brain will be like a sponge. Our schooling system's not set up like that. And so that's what I said at the start of today, is like, whatever you need to do in this context, stretch, stand on your head, do whatever, do it so that it works for you. As long as you're not distracting other people, as long as I'm not throwing footballs off of people's heads, then I'm not distracting them, but more importantly, I'm getting plugged into me. And so our schooling system is not set up for boys to totally crush it. It's hard for us, especially at the start of the day. But when you get to school, Landon, and you've had that meal, you've had that food, do you notice a time where you're like more productive versus less productive? When you go in the morning and skate, early morning skate, and then you go to school, does that ever happen? How are you different when you step into class? You feel what? Okay, so what's the result? Forget about success. It's just a result. You feel what? Okay, so you're more engaged. What else? Awesome. What else? Give me one more. Ask more questions. Beautiful. So what does that tell you? What did you do that morning that had you bring those things to the table? Right. So there is the clue. So I don't know how many days a week you skate, but if you tell me, Dan, the days that I'm engaged, I'm connected, it's because I skate, but then the other days, what happens? How come you feel tired? Right. So you said you get up at what time? What time do you get up to go skate? Okay, so maybe the magic is, the clue, the library, the clue here is maybe it's a 5 a.m. wake-up call for Landon every single day, and you do something that physically invigorates you, and there's actually a chemical benefit when you're releasing dopamine, your body's changing. And so if you want to be that result in class, then you now know what a clue is that's going to help you get there. And then you can find out what the answer is. Does that make sense? Anybody else understand what I'm saying? And so, I'm not telling you to get up at 5 in the morning and make, Gloria's going to be losing her mind like I'm making my son breakfast every day at 5 in the morning. But what I'm saying is, what your result is, and if you're willing to look at it, now you find that clue. And maybe it's purely skating. Maybe that's the only thing that does that. Maybe working out, running around the block, or doing jumping jacks doesn't get you there. Well, then now you know. So now it's like, okay, I need exercise, but it actually needs to look specifically like this. What I'm asking you guys to do is approach this like it's an experiment. Rather than making the game, the win, the loss, the situation, I made the team, I didn't make the team, rather than making it being this moment of finality, like, oh, done, and it ended, and tomorrow I start a new story, what I'm asking you guys to do is to build a continuum that never ends. You're just getting more results. And then what do you do when you get results? You just look for clues. And then with that clue, it brings you to and then you decide, is that something I want to keep doing? Because if you're going down a path and your things aren't going great, look for the clues. Do I want to change this? I do. Okay, what do I have to do? Oh my God, here's the clue. Oh, there's the answer. Stop doing that one thing that I never even thought I was doing. I'm going to change that thing. I'm going to course correct. And do it like it's an experiment. Like literally like you're playing with it. And take the edge off of like I lost, I didn't. I did. I like take that out and purely look at it. Go to the next slide, Taylor, please. So here's what I want you guys to do on your piece of paper at the top. Carter, can you read the top here for me? Read this one here. Yeah. So list down 3 successes you've had, say, in the last, I don't know, week. Just write them down. And it could be, again, guys, it doesn't have to be a gold medal championship game. It could be something simple. 3 things, 3 successes. Quick. And then once you write down those successes, pick one. Pick one. And write down one of the clues. So easy peasy. Write 3 successes you've had. The success could be that you had an awkward conversation with somebody. Remember, we're not worried about the outcome. We're just worried about the act of. And then pick one of those successes, and find one clue. What's one thing that you did that created that success? Simple. Keep it simple. And then finally, what does that clue tell you? Like, what answer did you get from that? So 3 results that you really liked. People call them successes. Pick one of them. Find one clue to that one thing. And then what does that clue tell you? I know it was in the library. Pretty sure I got that down. Now I'm going to figure out, I wonder which instrument they used. So what do you got? 100% your test. Awesome. And what clue do you have? Okay, tell me more about you studied the day before, because I have a feeling it was more than you just studying the day before. Okay, get the mic, Nick. Can you stand up, please? So introduce yourself, because maybe they missed it before.
Bryce Ferguson, and I got 100% on my test. The clue that I had is that I studied the day before.
But tell us how you studied.
I studied for 30 minutes, took a 15-minute break, and I went back to studying.
Okay, so hold on. So do you see the difference between I studied versus I studied for 30, took a break? Because it's not the studying that got you the thing. It's the way you studied, right? Like I shot 100 pucks because the net's over there and I'm shooting over here. No one told me. But I still worked hard. I'm not going to shoot pucks anymore because it's a waste of time. It doesn't even help me score because I'm not doing it the right way. So this is beautiful. So you got 100%, and the clue that you have is 30-minute study. How long was the break? 15. What'd you do at the 15 minutes? So like walk around the house, completely disconnected. Beautiful. And then 30 minutes again. How many of those did you do? 2. 30 on, minute off, 15 off, 30 on. That was it. Awesome. So is that what you wrote down? Like, did you write down that detail of the study? What would you call that study? Let's give it a name. Okay, that's cool. I love it. So give it a name. So again, like I said, have fun with this. Make up your own name. Like, oh, that's my thing. It's called this. Yours could be like morning, like bippity bop, get up and do my thing. I don't know, whatever it is, right? But what is your thing? So you call it what you call it. And then what do you know, now that you've stood back and you look at that clue, what answers do you get from that? Boom. Now, I don't know if you're going to get 100 every time, but I know that you just said that that worked for you once. Try it again. You might try it the next 9 times and it blows up in your face, and maybe this was just a lucky time. Maybe you would have got 100 no matter how you studied. Maybe not. But have fun with it. Rather than being like, oh, I got 100, yeah. And then, oh, I got 39, oh, boo. It's like, well, no, what did I do differently? Oh, my God, the 39? Like I studied like I was like in kindergarten, like I didn't even know what I was doing, no attention, no focus versus what you did here. It's that simple. So now you know that you're calling it the 15-second what? On and off. So the on and off study method. Is that what you're going to try to call it? The Bryce Ferguson on and off study method. We started it right here, bro. We're going to go online. We can do a whole program like that online. Everybody's known that studying tactic for years because we're going to market and package it that way. It's going to crush. You ready? Okay, awesome. I'm only going to take like 40, 50%. Okay? Awesome. So that's what you're going to call it. So now here's the playful part. Now you know that this becomes the tool that you're going to play with, because I don't know if it's going to work again. But this is the tool you're going to play with the next time you go to study. Do you see how I said play with? Which ties into the whole pleasure thing, right? Like when we know we're going to do something that's playful, we already are a different level of engagement, right? So that becomes your thing. From now on, no school this week, but moving forward, you can stay in touch with everybody and let us know how this, what are you calling it? The Bryce Ferguson on and off study method, bro. Hey, cool? And so now this literally, have you ever thought about it this way before? Where you like got 100%, boom, love it. And then that was kind of it.